Then you ignore me. I'm about to leave the chat now, going back.
And she produced this as well.
I don't know what you want from
Insane.
this. Tell me before I call it quits on you. Ain't coming through, not talking back, ain't talking back. Make up your mind, you'll run out of time. Counting on the hours.
Said your body flowers on Valentine's Day.
Said you'd be mine, said you'd be kind, but this one's so sour. I'm counting all the hours till you're gone, don't waste my time. It's so fun and games when your life is on a stage. Knock your heart up in a cage, yeah. It's so fun and games till you're running out of jokes. You're gonna need someone to hold, yeah. The tragedies are missing you. Reality knowing you never coming through. And I'ma die looking for a better you. But that's a disguise and it just wasn't true. Never really thought that we'd be here again. Never really thought that we were sinking in. But all I really know is you are not my friend. And this is the story of our bitter end. Of our bitter end. Of our bitter end.
Are you two sisters in the multiverse, yourself and Joe?
I would cry of happiness if we were, because what the fuck? She's so talented.
It's pretty close to perfection, hey?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what a way to start the day. Day, afternoon, morning, waking life. We wait in life to wake again and fall asleep, and who knows. R.em.edy, good to see, good to be. How we doing out here?
Good. Are we streaming now?
We are right on. We are live. This is Grounded with Dilly Dave.
I'm scared.
And we're joined with R.em.edy. How's it feels?
Thank you for having me. I'm feeling good. I'm like, my only concern is I'm scared I'm gonna need to pee during this, but hopefully we're good.
All right, I'll give you a bit of peace of mind. So if you do need to do such a thing, I have the capacity to fill time that nobody else can do. So depending on, I don't want you to abuse a pee break or anything, but if it was necessary, I could potentially hold down the fort, you know?
How do I tell you? Do I have to signal you?
Yeah, I bet you do one of these.
Okay. Dumb.
Cool. Welcome, R.em.edy, to Grounded. This is a fresh Twitch stream, and essentially my aim and goal is to touch base with everyone that I kind of been keeping my eyes on during lockdown, and making sure that everyone's all right, making sure that people are still making stuff, and kind of seeing where everyone's at. So, R.em.edy, before we get into it, there is a little bit of housekeeping to do. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
So first off, the best way to get grounded these days, I feel, is acknowledging the ground that we're on.
Mm-hmm.
The land of the Brunering and the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. They were the traditional custodians of this land, not owners. I feel like it's always important to have gratitude on whatever space that we can create with. So yeah, keep that in mind moving forward. And yeah, that's all I'd like to say. R.em.edy, if you want to add anything to it, you're more than welcome. If not, we can keep rolling.
Yeah, thank you so much for acknowledging the First Nation people and stuff. I think that's really important. Yeah. And it's been so amazing seeing so many programs really implementing that into their intros these days. And obviously should be done, period, but it's been really beautiful to see their culture being more embraced with this new generation.
Yeah, agreed. It's very important, as with hip hop, for example, to understand the roots, where things started from, the origin. Because if we forget about historical context, we can get detached, right? And not care. Well, R.em.edy, before I make you cry or anything, I just want to let everyone know that my guest today is somebody who is quite spectacular. They're a soul sister. They're a trendsetter. They're a movement maker. They're a queen of collaboration, and they're a champion of the aesthetics. So I just want to give you a shout out on all those
Thanks.
fronts.
I don't know if I could take that, but thank you. Thank you. Oh, the aesthetic is just mental illness, and you know,
So is that okay? All right. So to dive into that, to pretend to dive into that for a second, is that the red in the hair? Is that representing something that alludes towards a fatal end, or what are we talking about?
or a breakdown.
Or a breakdown? Yeah. Is it blood, sweat, and tears, or is it what is it?
Well, I think the new hair, I was like platinum blonde for like 5 years before I came into the scene.
Yeah.
And I was like really unwell, and then I wanted to switch things up, so I dyed my hair black, polar opposite, and then really started to become R.em.edy. And then I felt like I had been this whole like version of R.em.edy for a while, kind of a bit shy, bit to myself. And I really just wanted to open up. And this hair was inspired by my alter ego. Her name's Nikki.
Okay, cool.
It's like, I don't know why her name's Nikki. I think when I was like in primary school, the kids would always play like mom and dad or whatever, like, and you'd pretend to be mom and dad with a kid.
Yeah.
And I would always be like, I'm the babysitter. I'm 16. I have blonde hair. And my name's Nikki, and I'm a bad bitch.
Yeah.
And then
Nikki is a bit of a bad bitch name. There's no doubt there. It's not
For
short and
real.
sweet, short and sharp, right?
definitely. And I think with the music I'll be putting out in the next year or so, I really want to show people Nikki's side. Yeah, and so it's kind of a new chapter.
Cool. So the old chapter was 2017 to 2019 or 2020. What are these chapters? What kind of time periods are we talking?
I think the Blackhead Remedy was 2019 to kind of the end of 2020.
Yeah.
And with the project I have coming out soon, that 613 is a part of.
Yeah.
Shout
Shoutouts to
it's kind
613,
of
by the way, to please follow R.em.edy, and that track is part of my Spotify playlist, which is Melbourne
Thank
Buzz
you.
Hip Hop Scene. Anyway, it's in, the links in the thing. Continue, please, Rem.
Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of like this project that's saying goodbye to the Blackhead Remedy, who was a very naive, subconscious person that kind of fell in love a bit too easily, and put others, more commonly toxic men, before herself. And I guess who I'm on the road to becoming now is more so looking out for myself and embracing my body and my mind.
So more doing what's right for you instead of being a full empath and kind of just, you know, bending the will for others, right?
Definitely. Yeah, it's got me in a lot of trouble being that way. So
it's a struggle
yeah.
because that's your natural inclination, right? That's how you kind of naturally have navigated in the world for a while.
It really is. Yeah, I think I actually found out the other day that something to do with how I process emotions and like empathic culture for my brain is a result of my ADHD.
Interesting. There's a link there.
And I was like, okay.
So you're kind of
Didn't know that.
fixating on emotions or people's sensitivities or something?
Yeah, constantly like diving deeper into the meaning of things, even when it's not necessary, and kind of not having an off button for that.
Okay.
So you could like, we could be chatting and your arms could be crossed. And that's just because like that's how you're comfortable.
Right.
But then I could be like, does he have his arms crossed because he's mad, because he's sad, because I said something, because someone hurt him beforehand?
Right.
And it's this, you know, the mind's always racing because of ADHD, but a lot of the time with empathic thoughts.
What has helped you to kind of navigate away from the subconscious overthinking into, I guess, better states of awareness?
I haven't gotten there yet. I think
Well,
I'm
obviously
still
you've
there.
identified and there's change and there's things happening. So there must have been something that kind of, or a few things that are like, you know what, that person is leading by example. I want to take a bit of that away from me. Does anything like that happen to you, or?
I think COVID, honestly, like the lockdown that happened last year, that was really big,
Yeah.
gave me a lot of time to analyze myself. And I've always loved psychology, but then I kind of applied the way that I might analyze others to myself, and it really helped me grow. But it was quite painful and
Mm.
deprecative.
I guess that's always part of the process, right? You got to tear away unwanted layers, but those layers are still a part of you, and it still hurts when they get drawn away.
Definitely.
So, have you kind of pursued more studies in psychology or anything else at the moment? Is that just you doing some research in your own time, or?
I think being in the mental health kind of system since
Mm,
I was about 7 or 8 made me kind of have this fascination with the human brain, and I got a lot of opportunities to learn the hard way.
mm,
Um, and I obviously, being through trauma and, hardships isn't fun, but I think the outlook it
right.
gives you on life is really beautiful and valuable. And yeah, I think just being through a lot of the young age made me obsessed with it. Um, I was studying working with disabilities a couple years ago,
Yeah.
which I really want to pursue again at some point, but
Yeah.
my own disability kind of uh, stopped me from being able to pursue it.
Mm.
But I'd love to get into youth work at some point.
I think you'd be really good for that. You seem to have a good energy for young people. I feel like,
Thanks.
yeah, I feel like they'd really warm to you and kind of look to you for, because it's interesting. I know you as a performer and artist, and the way that you kind of present on stage is something that people can look up to and enjoy and take from. So I feel like you'd be able to apply that, in more real world, you know, to people who've had similar struggles to you and probably worse.
Thank you. Yeah, I think music gives artists the opportunity to connect with people on a deeper level and really make change. And that's definitely a big goal, which I think is an absolute honor to be able to do.
Cool. I think that's enabled me to pull off a good segue. So you're talking about the importance of connecting with people through your music if you're a creative or an artist, if that's your thing, and that seems to be, would you say, like a guiding principle for how you navigate and network in the scene?
Can you please repeat that? My ADHD sucks
No, that's
ass.
fine. I also try and be really wordy with my questions to seem more intelligent than I am.
Thank you.
So you were saying that using music to connect with people, you know, in a good positive way is like a guiding principle for you, one of the things you really keep in
Mm.
mind, yeah. So has that impacted the way that you network with other artists in the scene? And is that how you've been able to pull off so many wonderful collaborations?
I do think it's had a massive part. Um, I love being able to connect with someone on a personal level when I want to collaborate with them. And so many times I've been at gigs and I just end up being in the smokers all night talking to everyone about their life story.
Yeah.
And I just love it. I would be doing that anyway. But I
Right.
do think uh, being a performer and singing the kind of lyrics I do help people find more comfort in that.
Mm.
Because I personally, like, since I've been going to therapy since I was like 7 or 8, I have no problem telling a stranger my life story because that was a lot of the time my like socializing. Um,
Right. Not so much with parents and family. It was and friends. It was more strangers. Is that what we're saying?
Definitely. So like
Cool.
having to tell your life story to like 3 random people every week, um, obviously like a bit weird, but it gave me this opportunity to be able to talk in a very unfiltered way.
Mm.
And I get to do that through my music. And I feel like people with the same kind of empathic minds can feel that and heal themselves through that. With collaborating, though, I think in the past couple of years, since I've been in the scene, I've had such an amazing opportunity to collaborate with so many people. It's been super dope, and I'm very thankful everyone's been so welcoming of me.
Mm.
I do think like these days, I'm more trying to connect with the people I collaborate with on a personal level.
Mm-hmm.
But mainly through last year, I was just taking on everything, and I wouldn't even have met the people yet.
Yeah.
Which yeah.
Because we're talking Ryko, Jimmy Harmwood, Dan Dibb, E, Nomad, Dexter. I imagine there's probably 10 others, and that's just like musicians. So, I mean, is most of that people approaching you, or you approaching people? What's happening there? I'd love to know.
I think most of them approach me through mutuals and through Instagram and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Tate or Riker
Yeah.
is a good friend of mine, and probably I think he's the only person I've had on a song like that I like
Featured on one of
emailed.
yours.
Yeah, where I like DM'd him a feature.
Yeah.
And he got on it. So I think being able to approach other people is quite confronting, and I haven't got enough confidence to do it yet because I hate rejection.
I hear you have done it though, but we don't have to talk about it.
um,
But yeah, you
but
did say at the start of this that you come from a history of being maybe a bit more shy and reserved. Maybe that's outside of the music creative world, but yeah, to approach somebody who you think is deemed worthy of your music, which I think is at a high level, it's like there's some stakes there. There's some things at stake.
yeah, definitely. Instagram is a beautiful thing, though. I think the majority of the music I've made with people, I think almost all of it, like it wouldn't have happened if we didn't have each other on Instagram.
Yeah.
And the All Corners project that New Wave did at the end of 2019, I think is a massive reason why I have had the honor to work with so many people, because it just connected you to everyone and anyone, and it was such a gorgeous experience.
It seemed that that project, I know there was a lot of the artists were linked to each other before that, but it did seem that since that project, there is this crew or collection of people that are well connected, who have been making a lot of great stuff in Melbourne from that. As I said, Imi, E, Tate, No Bad, yourself. I mean, you name them, they're there. Do you know of any other big pockets of people like that are as well as connected? And I'm not asking you to do a shout out for Vibe Union or anything like that. I'm saying, like, are there any other like pockets of people that that are doing like similar amount of collaborative stuff?
Well, I think it's a great point to point out Vibe Union, because I think it's been beautiful to see what you guys have been doing, and I love the inclusivity you guys do. And speaking of the first time we ever met, was like my first ever open mic, and no one knew who the fuck I was. I thought like ass, but like everyone was really nice about it. And yeah, there was just so much beautiful energy, and absolutely no shame and all respect for everyone's artistry.
That's well said. That's well said. Like, no shame. I actually really like that, because I feel like shame and creativity can be unfortunately linked and can be nasty. But please go on.
Definitely. I think that's something very rare that you guys have, that is very honorable and that you should hold on to. So
Appreciate it.
definitely you guys, no worries. And then the whole kind of hip hop group that was very included in like all corners and stuff, like Ryko, Honey, Kavinal, Nomad,
Yeah. The one.
that whole kind of sector. I do think there are some other kind of groups of like soul music and R&B.
Yeah.
I think there's a really beautiful R&B collective with like suck at names.
It's okay.
But like Jeremy Farrow,
Okay.
and some God, I don't know any fucking names. But there's a bunch of
Right.
stuff.
So
But
there's stuff
I do,
happening.
yeah. But I do feel like the New Wave Collective, they're like very much my best friends. And they kind of feel like home, so I've kind of just stuck with that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So they don't make music as a crew anymore, but they still individually very, very active. Yeah.
Definitely. They're not New Wave anymore, but I feel like
They'll
a lot
always
of
be new wave
people,
to you.
yeah, and I guess like a lot of people might know them that way, and not know everyone individually as well as a name as New Wave, because New Wave made so much impact.
Yeah. They really did. They led the front line of big collaboration, and consistency, and like this whole crew thing, which was not just like 3 or 4 people on a mic. It was like 15 people making great stuff.
And it's just I remember when I went to that All Corners session, I knew nobody.
Yeah,
And
right.
I literally cried on the bus ride
Oh
home
my god.
because I was just like, I've been like alone my whole life, not fitting in, and I feel like I finally found people that understand me, and it was just so beautiful. The energy those people create is just insane, and the music that comes out of it is even better.
It's true. Yeah, I mean the proof is in the pudding if you want to just look at the music, right? And the music
Proof is in the
videos.
pudding. Hell yeah.
Yeah. You like that one? You like pudding, do you?
I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna put that on the bar.
Go on. It's not it's quite an old one. It would have to be an old fashioned bar.
Fine. Do a throwback.
Yes. Gotta wait for Thursday though. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long way away.
Goddamn.
What's changed since 2019 when you started hitting stages, and now, and like ignore the whole COVID thing, but what's changed? And maybe you've already kind of explained this a little bit, but what's changed for you since 2019 and 2021 now, as you and your mentality towards what you're doing?
I started getting vocal lessons in 2020 by my
Really?
beautiful vocal coach, Jasmine Varley. She
Shoutouts.
is
Cool.
a literal god. I don't honestly know how she's real. She's so beautiful and
Maybe
has a
he's not
voice of an
real.
angel. We'll never know. I do
Yeah.
FaceTime with her. She could be a hologram.
True. That's powerful.
But yeah, I'd never done vocal lessons before, and being able to train with her once a week has changed my life dramatically. And I think that's really, really improved my music and my knowledge and my performing.
Yeah.
Another thing too, being trying to understand my body and its limitations a lot more with performing, with having chronic fatigue and chronic pain. I would just like think I could push through it. And now I kind of design each performance to fit how I'm feeling, which I think definitely makes the performance better, and the aftermath I experience a lot more manageable.
Right. So does that kind of translate to you just having to organize and structure things a lot more considerably when you on the lead up to performing stuff? Like, what does that look
Definitely.
like? Yeah.
I think like 2019, and why I was so fortunate to meet so many different people was bitch was just going out every night, like going to Section 8, just drinking, smoking darts,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
having the time of my life.
Living the dream. Yeah.
100%. And apart from the alcohol poisoning, it was pretty lit.
Even that's it anyway. Yeah, totally.
But since my health is quite bad, I would get like chronic pharyngitis. And I would be constantly sick and constantly unwell. Plus, I was smoking at the time. And I just could
And you,
never perform properly.
and you still sounded good, which is. But for you, you're probably like, this is a nightmare. And for us, we're like, oh, this is pretty good. And you're like, oh, I'm
Thank you.
struggling the world and my body and all these things.
For real. I actually remember I did Bootleg Rascal at the beginning of 2020. I did a little support show for them. And I was the most sick I'd ever been in my life. I lost like over like over half of my hearing temporarily.
Oh my god.
I literally couldn't hear anything. I had like severe sinusitis and pharyngitis. And I was starting to get chronic migraines, which I still deal with now. And I literally like had to have my foot on the fallback and just go off that because like I could not hear anything. I could just go off like vibrations and like what I knew.
That's wild.
And then like people were like, "You sounded great," and I'm like, "What the fuck do you mean?" I hope I did because I have no idea, but I'm guessing it was horrible.
Your autopilot must be pretty good.
Having like a chronic dissociative disorder makes autopilot like my best friend.
Autopilot's your new wave.
Literally. Yeah, but now when I like I don't really drink too much anymore, which I miss and I hope I can do again. I don't smoke. So I don't get sick as much. And then like a week before the gig I'll like do certain like immune boosting things and I'll, you know, probably not really go out. I'll kind of do my own little quarantine thing. Because if someone has a sniffle, I can't perform. Yeah.
COVID hits some people a little bit harder than others, doesn't it?
Definitely. And even like I think the whole thing with like people wearing masks and stuff, when it first came about when COVID started, I was kind of like, thank God. And like if you're sick, you have to stay home. I was like, this is a breeze. I'm not gonna get sick catching the train in anymore. Like I'm fine. Because like everyone's because if like someone in the train had like a cold and now at the back, my body would pick that up and I'd be sick for like a month.
Wow. All right. So, I mean, this is an interesting thought to play with, but how do you square having, you know, these immune issues? How do you square that with like, you know, the thought of like, you know, is it life fair or otherwise? Like, did you used to have a lot of anger for having these things and you're kind of in the process of passing through that? Or how are you squaring having this with like, is life fair kind of thing? If you understand that question.
I think it's a great question. I also, wait, before I get into it, I am going to take this earring out because I swear it has probably been banging on my mic the whole time.
That's all good.
So,
by the way, just shout outs to Homeboy G, who's a long-term pal of mine, but also a long-term, and by long-term I mean 3-week fan of the show. So shout outs to Homeboy G.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing one earring. Okay.
Cool.
It's fine. Yeah, I think I've been able to keep a pretty brave face throughout it for a while. I kind of like went through most of my life thinking I was able-bodied, so I just thought that I was being lazy. Because when you have an invisible disability, it's quite difficult to get that validation. And in my case, all my test results will be like normal and they can't figure out what's wrong. And I'm like, what?
They're looking for the wrong thing, obviously.
Definitely. And like Western medicine has a very different like when you get a blood test done for Western medicine, the kind of like bracket of like if you're in this, you're well is very different to the one for like naturopathic kind of stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Because in like more, I don't know what to call it, non-Western medicine,
Yeah.
it's about like the very tiny things that can have an impact.
Right, the small variation in diet routine, these things.
Definitely.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I do have those moments where I'm like, why me? And like, fuck this. And I just want to tour the world and perform and be the best performer. And I physically can't be a Beyonce because
Right.
just can't. But
Yeah.
I do think on my better days, it gives me a lot of drive to see what I can do to the best of my abilities and really just embrace who I am and show other people that aren't able-bodied that, you know, they can be proud of their limitations and still do what they want their own way.
I really like that that sentence, that phrase. I think it's very quotable. The be proud of your limitations, right? Like embrace your limitations. They actually make you the most human. And if you don't understand your limitations, you don't understand your capacity or your potential, do you?
100%. And if everyone was the same, shit would be boring.
Amen.
Like the fact that I get to have a different path is like a blessing in a way, because I get to experience different things. And I really hope that I can be a voice in the music industry that helps uplift people with disabilities, because I don't see too many people doing that. And if there are celebrities with disabilities, they never really talk about it, which I hate.
Yeah. Well, it's all about being picture perfect, right? I guess, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I feel like we're, our generation's having quite the identity crisis. I feel like,
Oh, hell yeah.
yeah. And I guess, we're all in it together, but it is a little unnerving to really find your place in this world.
It really is.
I find that I contemplate this thought every day.
We love some existential thoughts. Oh, God.
Do you consider yourself a nihilist, or you don't feel too dark? You haven't given up hope on the world, have you yet?
Oh, I'm getting there.
You're getting there. You feel like you're on the way to being full Nikki.
Yep. Oh, the world's a scary place, man. Every day I'm kind of like freaking out and being like, is the world going to end today? Because I feel like it is. Social media
Yeah.
gives us so much more insight than we ever have
Mm.
to the world. And I think it can be excruciatingly overwhelming. And it's beautiful because, there's like GoFundMe's and all this stuff to like help raise awareness and information, to learn things about different cultures or
Yeah.
issues in the world. But it's a lot.
Because I guess at the end of the day, we only have control over so many things. And when we're showing all these things that are outside of our control, and it's news, so I guess it's meant to be our problem. So it can be hard to square that off, right?
Yeah, definitely. At the moment, my like crisis is I'm like, if the world ends because of climate change, before I get to be like a weird auntie with like a bunch of dogs and like just like freak out my sister's daughter whenever that happens. Like
Yeah.
if I
Yeah.
don't get that, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, God, it's interesting because we live in the height of privilege, but even within that, there is the risk and the imminent danger of it all crumbling for so many reasons at any second.
100%. Yeah, Australia's very fortunate with our situation, and it just, yeah, we have a lot of privilege.
Mm-hmm. We sure
And
do.
it like there was flooding in like New York or something today. And it's crazy because so many people will be like, I'm in such a privileged place and everything, but it can just fall apart within seconds. It doesn't matter who you are anymore.
That's well said. I think that is also very well said because I feel like the true discrimination actually comes from the hand of the government. You know what I mean? And it doesn't it's indiscriminate in terms of who it discriminates against, which is everyone, because it's trying to push everyone against each other, I feel.
Yeah.
Anyway, whew. Talk about getting grounded.
Politics.
More like a ground and pound. Pow, 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 pow. Jesus. All right, Remedy. Let's put some people on the map. So I've got two things. So we need to put one person on the physical, and by physical I mean digital Photoshop map. So
Okay.
if there's an MC or MC producer or producer you want to put on the map, we'll do that. And the second thing is adding a Spotify track to the playlist. So two separate things. So first, who would you like to put on the map, Remedy?
Can I put the same person on the map that I'm putting on the playlist?
We can definitely do that, unless that person is already on the playlist or the map.
Okay. Damn. Shit, I suck at this.
No, you don't.
I think
You're the queen of
putting
collaboration. You know everyone. Everyone knows you.
it's my Libra energy. It's just
I
I'm
guess
too
so.
social.
Right. It's out of your control.
Yeah, I honestly COVID's made me such an introvert. I need to get back to being a social butterfly.
All of my energy is from people and being in those social scenes or environments. So yeah, I guess I've turned into a dark introvert myself. God, next second I'll be calling me Nikki or whatever. Dark purple hair or some shit.
It's fun.
Yeah, I bet it is.
I think putting on the map Joji Anya.
Yeah, I've got Joji Anya, yeah, beautiful. I was gonna say I've got Duan, but Joji Anya is great.
She's a incredible singer and producer from Melbourne, and I can't believe she's real. She's so beautiful, and her writing, her runs, her piano playing, her beat making, which is very reminiscent of like Jay Dilla.
Right.
Yeah, everyone needs to know her name and stream her because I don't understand how she isn't like the biggest name around.
What? This is a bit of a sidestep question, but what do you think is the best way of getting people in the map in Melbourne? What do you think is a good way to grab attention, if you will? Just a quick thought.
I think it's really difficult with COVID at the moment because, like in the Melbourne scene, a lot of it's social, and going out and having drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
Which sucks if you're doing sobriety, which I've been doing for the past year because I haven't met anyone.
Right.
But I think these days with COVID, I think social media and just being yourself, if you're being an artist, you're selling yourself, and you should put that out unapologetically and just flaunt your talents, flaunt your emotions, and I think the rest will come.
That's one of my favorite words, being unapologetic. That word unapologetic is, I feel like that speaks volume for the context of being a performer, because you don't want to have people question what you're doing because you're questioning what you're doing. Because it's
like artists
obvious.
are already perfectionists. We just leave it at that. We don't need any more.
Any more layers of neuroses or whatever. Whereabouts is Jo? Is she west side, north side, east, south, southeast? Do we know? Whereabouts?
I'm not sure.
Okay, we can leave her.
I don't know. It's a mystery. But for the playlist,
yeah, talk to me.
I might have a new name.
Oh shit.
The beautiful Sunday. Her song "Different Ways" that she just put out the other day.
Her name is Beautiful Sunday?
Oh, just Sunday. She's just beautiful.
Sunday.
Sorry.
No, that's not good. What was the name of the track? Sorry.
Different Ways.
Perfect.
It's Emilio, who I did a gig with a couple months ago. He was filling in as a guitarist, but
Cool.
he does music as well. Played for the track, and my engineer Adhd mastered it, so bound
Hey.
to be incredible. Yeah, but it's a beautiful kind of breakup song that made me cry my eyes out when I heard it. So
There it is, and you're pretty talented with breakup songs yourself, I guess.
thank you. My poor exes, I feel so bad for them, but I actually sampled one of their voicemails in a song that's going to be on my EP.
Oh, truly. Are you outing someone or it's tasteful?
No, I told him about it. I was like, I
Yeah.
pitched your voice, so you can't sue me.
Yeah.
And I'm
And that's all you
sorry.
said? You sent him a message, it was like, I pitched your voice, you can't sue me, and left it at that.
I got lunch with him.
Oh, that's
And I
nice.
was like, we were just like catching up. And I was like, oh, by the way, like kind of sampled you. So sorry, but it's mixed and mastered, so it has to be put out.
It's already done. That's another thing you could keep in mind, like act first and ask for forgiveness later, right?
Yep. Definitely. Yep.
Cool. They're great recommendations.
Thank you.
They're really nice. Well, I love putting on this playlist and listening to all the vast difference in it. It's hard to know what Melbourne Sound is. I've come to the conclusion of. Like, there's pockets, there's flavors, there's influences, but something that's made in Melbourne could sound like it came out of, LA or Chicago or whatever, Canada, if you will.
That's very true. Yeah, I agree. There's like very distinct pockets, but not something that just makes Melbourne Melbourne. I feel like the authenticity is very Melbourne. I think that's pretty broad, especially in like the R&B and hip hop scene.
So you're kind of saying that we're good at being ourselves instead of playing to a thing?
Yeah, kind of like being transparent, like being able to be vulnerable.
Right. Honesty, yeah, right.
And I do feel like that's still within a pocket of like the R&B.
Yeah, I agree.
But because hip hop's not always authentic when you're talking about bands and racks.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, often it's the furthest thing from authenticity. It's almost like carbon copy of shit. It's kind of wild.
Definitely, but I think the people doing their own thing in the scene are definitely known for their authenticity.
Yeah, because I guess for people like you and myself who love going to watch people perform, I guess that's where we would draw our inspiration from as well. It's like, oh shit, they're unapologetically being themselves. They've put in some work. I don't feel like they're lying to me, so I trust and like them.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, there's a very personal connection with artists.
Yeah, God, I fucking miss that so much. Hey.
Same. I've like realized because I've been sober for like a year and a half now to look after myself.
Bless you,
I'm
by
like,
the way.
fuck it.
I don't know how to do that.
It sucks. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to get lit and get alcohol poisoning again. But I'm just like,
Right.
after lockdown, who gives a shit? I'll put out EP. I'll have a couple months to like destroy myself, make myself sick, because I need to go and see live music and get drunk with everyone because it's just the best.
It's the best. What do you got to do? Yeah, you got to party for 2 months if you can sustain 2 months. I know that's a bit of an ask.
I went on a bender for 3 months once.
Oh shit! Well, then I guess I'm talking to the right person. I don't know if you're past your peak or whatever though.
That was the old me. I shed that skin.
Okay.
It was, oh God. I just remember like going to my grandparents' house during the bender and like my hair literally being out to here because it was so fuzzy from the smoke. It was just so bad.
You're just whispering around out there, weren't you?
Yeah, I remember like putting deodorant like in my hair, like on the way there, being like, please fix this. I just it's so bad.
Fucking what a nightmare. Um, what are you working on at the moment? What's happening at the moment? I think we briefly touched on stuff at the start, but yeah, talk us through it.
So I have an EP I've been holding on to for quite a long time.
Yeah.
It's been done for like well over a year.
Right.
But I've just been
Sorry, you go.
picking it apart. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good.
I've just been picking it apart. Like I've re-recorded every single song on it, like
Wow.
twice. So like 3 times now.
Yeah.
And yeah, now it's done. I just sent like the last one off for a remix and master because I wanted to retrack that again because I'm that bitch. And I've improved so
Perfectionist.
much. Yep. Improved so much vocally in like the past year.
Cool.
And I'm just today I decided, you know what? I hate one of these tracks, but I love the song. I'm gonna make it like a country rock R&B pop song and hope for the best. Got
Sound-
no idea what I'm doing, but
sounds-
hopefully it
Sounds like
works
you're
out.
trying to do a Miley Cyrus on us.
I don't know. I've been really in love with this artist called Donna Missile, who's kind of like very soulful, but has this kind of country rock influence. And I grew up with a lot of rock.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so basically, once I stop like ruining this project with my perfectionist ways,
Yeah.
it will be out
Cool.
in the next few months. Yeah.
Perfect. So are we talking 5, 10, 7? How many tracks looking at?
It is, I believe, 5.
Cool.
And then I have and then I have about like 6 or 7 singles I've been holding on to for a while too. So I figure I'll just
God.
maybe do a mixtape after for you guys and do a couple single runs, but definitely a lot of new stuff, a lot more upbeat stuff.
Awesome. What would you like to see from the scene? I guess moving on towards the end of this year and next year, what are some things that you've observed that you like that you want to see more of?
I just really want to see live music again. It just breaks my heart how we keep getting locked down, and obviously for a good reason. But I really hope in the next couple months or by summer we can have gigs again. And I did notice when gigs first started coming back last year, they were mainly commercial, and like there was a lot of labels or management and money behind it. And I really hope that independent artists really get a platform by summer.
Yes.
And just see everyone liberated on stage would be beautiful.
So you're saying that everything's already there, we just got to go back.
I 100% agree. I think the energy's there, and I think everyone's really going through it at the moment.
Yeah.
And that live music and everyone coming back together would really give everyone a fresh kind of start in mind to feel inspired again.
Brilliant. Well, I couldn't have said it better myself. I feel truly grounded. Thank you, Rem, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Sorry for the rambling. I have no idea what I'm saying all the time.
You've sounded very clear, very cohesive. It sounds like you've got it together for the most part. It was a great interview. You gave me everything I needed and more. You didn't take a pee break. So
I didn't. Hell yeah. I think like disassociating really helped me like not need to pee. So I'm stoked.
that is. I've just got a quick update from Homeboy G, who says that Joe is southeast, Dandy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Beautiful. Check out support acts, support grants for live performance. Yeah, true. Homeboy G's got a good point. There is, I don't know if you've looked into this as well, but there's actually quite a lot of grants for people in your scenario who could have been performing, making money from your thing. So I don't know if you've looked into that at all, but I definitely recommend.
I haven't. I'd love to. If you have any recommendations, feel free to send them my way.
So what you should do, R.em.edy, and this doesn't apply to anyone else because you're kind of VIP, but you're already a part of the Vibe Union Discord, so there is a section for grants and stuff. And I think one of the most recent
beautiful.
ones that MQ posted is something that I've applied for. I'm still waiting back from, but yeah, there should be some stuff there.
Thank you so much. I'm living off my little disability pension right now, so
Let's do
that
it.
sounds lit.
Let's turn the racks into stacks, R.em.edy.
Hell yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Cheers to everyone. Do what you got to do. Be what you got to be. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Thank you for having me.